I would ask anybody here, phone, please put it on silent.
Regan just joined.
Okay. Regan's a regular.
No.
Oh, she's an
alternate.
alternate, okay.
We have to decide who's gonna be seated as the alternate.
All right, I think we'll do, Jason tonight. 'Cause he was there last time. All right.
Wait 1 second.
So what hurt my feelings, one way or another, I don't care, I try to attend every
You
meeting.
wanna let Regan sit in?
It's fine, whatever,
All right,
whatever you would prefer.
I don't prefer anything. We ready?
Yes, so you're gonna
Okay.
see Regan.
He's gonna do the roll call and he can see her.
So, yeah, we have a roll call. I'm here. Kathy Wazika's online. Ella Miles is online, and those are our three regular members. We'll seat Regan Minor and Dennis Jenkins tonight as alternates, and that'll give us full five. So that being said, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the April 21st meeting?
This is Ella. I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ella to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Dennis Jenkins seconds.
Okay, motion by, second by Dennis. Any discussion regarding the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So those minutes are approved. See, we have a communication from the town of Montville.
We actually have two. We have one from Preston, which I'd ask Kathy to talk about.
Kathy?
Right now, which one is it?
Zoning text amendment about electric vehicle charging station.
Oh. Okay, you didn't get another one? There's two.
I only have one in my folder.
Oh, so that my assistant didn't send both of them
Yes,
out. Okay,
Kathy,
what?
does Preston need any action from us on either of these?
No,
Matters?
no, I mean, the EV thing is something that's mandated by the statute, so we just basically took what's in the statute and put it in our regulations. And then the other is because someone wanted a building bigger than the 50%, so we just said, okay, let's change the regulations, so that's it.
Okay, so we don't need to take any action.
No, unless I mean, neither one will have impact on Norwich.
We do have another one though from
And
Montville.
then the other one from Montville
Montville.
is text amendments related to 25-1, which is the housing parking bill that we'll be bringing before you in a month or so.
Okay, anything we need to do for Montville?
No, it's gonna
Just
affect every town in
receive
the
them?
state. Yep.
All right, so those have been received and they're filed. So under old business, we have some public hearings and potential action. I'd like to ask if someone would make a motion to take the matter for special permit 2603, 248 Broadway and 26 Broad Street, to take that and table that because we don't have enough information to act on that this month per the report from staff. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'd ask for a motion to postpone it until the June 16th CCP meeting.
So would somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Is that Dennis?
Yes, sir.
All right, so a motion by Dennis. Do we have a second?
This is Ella. I'll second.
Motion and a second. That's all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so this is postponed to June 16th. All right, so then the next regular matter on the agenda is special permit 2601, 401, 409 West Main Street, and 128 Maple Street. Request for a special permit in accordance with zoning regulations, section 4.11, for proposed auto repair facility with associated site improvements located at the above addresses. Application of Wistonley Alphonse, property of WMST Realty LLC and 409 West Main LLC. It's assessor's map 109, block 1, lots 4, 5, 6, so GC zone. And this is continued from April 21st. So is there somebody here to speak for the applicant? Did we open the
Yeah.
public hearing
Yeah.
previously?
Yeah.
Okay, so this public hearing is a continued public hearing. It's still open. And if somebody is here for the applicant, can you identify yourself, please? You're on mute.
Hello. Sorry, hello, this is Tariq Mahara with Core States Group.
Okay. And are you going to be speaking on behalf of the application, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've got the floor.
Okay, do you mind if I share my screen?
That's fine.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you so much.
Malowski as well with Cressa, in case if there's any other additional questions.
Okay, thank you.
Could you both spell your name for the clerk for the record, please?
Oh yeah, of course. Tariq Mahara, T as Tom, A as Alpha, R as Rabbit, I as India, Q as Quick. Maharan, M as Mom, A as Alpha, H as Harry, A as Alpha, D as Door, I as India, N as Nancy, with Core States Group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, Frank, you wanna?
Yeah.
name?
Frank Malowski with Cressa. So that's Frank, and then Malowski is Malawski with Cressa, Cresa.
Thank you. So, Mr. Mahadan, you're going to speak first then?
Yes, sir. And I hope you all can see my screen. And before I start, I'll give a quick brief and where are we at and what are we doing, what are we proposing. As you can see here, the project is Crash Champions. It's a repair facility for vehicles. It's a retail business. And as you can see, we're proposing an entrance from Main Street, as you can see on the east side, and we are proposing the exit on the west side. We're proposing some parking spaces in front of the building, as you can see right here. And this is the proposed building. We have some parking in the back. That's for some of the vehicles for being repaired or pending for other customers to come pick those up. We will have some fence. We are proposing some underground storm detention system. We have started about 2 months ago, started conversations with the city staff. They have been phenomenal, outstanding, and quick in communication, constant feedback on the city codes, what's required. We did receive some extensive comments, very detailed, very thorough, of what kind of improvements, specifically towards aesthetics, landscaping, and even storm design system. We're still going over those, and we are working on them. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. We're expecting to resubmit our civil plans, our landscape plans within 2 to 3 weeks. And like I said, we've been back and forth mainly because of that underground detention system. And due to the existing conditions of the soil, we are revising the storm and having it. Give me just a second. I need to share a different PDF here, this is just the layout. Currently, this is a quick example of I showed you how it was before. And right now, our proposed system is currently extended. As you can see here, it's enlarged, and we're still working with the city engineer, Mr. Jeff Dewey. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Or Frank, thank you.
Just quickly, this is the old Jiffy Lube place, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
And here is the existing Jiffy Lube. I have a quick survey here showing what are we trying to take out and how it's going to be more properly designed.
So I have a question so you said you have more revisions to make. So are you not ready for the commission to review this at this point?
Kathy, I can address
Go ahead,
that.
Dan.
Tariq. So we've had extensive meetings with them, myself and Jeff Dewey, and we're okay with the commission approving it tonight. They're going to address things post-approval that Jeff is okay with and I'm okay with at this point. We've had back and forth for 2.5 months now. And the main issue was the stormwater system. And Jeff communicated with me that he's fine with it being addressed post-approval.
And for the record, Jeff is a city engineer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody
Thank you, Kate.
else have any questions?
We have someone raising their hand.
Dennis. So,
Dennis, you have a question? Dennis?
Where is the employee parking?
Frank,
Yeah,
do
it's
you want?
yeah, definitely. Employee parking is in the front of the building along with customer parking right there. And if you see the two gates on the left and right side of the drive aisles, that in the rear is the storage. So if you could move up, Tarek, there's the storage for the vehicles in the back there.
Oh,
Any other questions?
Tarek, do you have the elevation views that you could show the commission again? It's been a couple months now.
Actually, the architectural elevations.
Yes.
Frank, do you have those? Give me just a second here. I think I do.
Yes, I do. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's fine.
Thank you.
Let me know if you could see my screen. I'm going to head to those pages. So this is what the front elevation looks like. Everyone can see that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the front elevation. It's a brick facade. And then the side elevation looks like that. And then the rear of the building, that's what the rear of the building looks like, and the other side of the building.
So this is a tear down of the existing facility in a brand new building?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
And
So
do you
the
have color?
the sides of the building, okay, thank you.
on,
The sides
Kathy.
of the building are metal.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is strictly collision repair?
Correct. It is the full list of services are aluminum, hail, dent, auto glass, auto paint, paint scratch, bumper repair, fender repair, paintless dent repair, windshield repair, and replacement.
Okay. Is there anybody else here to speak on behalf of the applicant? Anybody else want to speak in connection or in favor of this application? Anybody else want to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody here who wants to speak in opposition to this application? Anybody who wants to speak in opposition? Last time, is there anybody who wants to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none. Staff, you got your report?
Sure. Give me 1 second, please. So I'll just run through my memo real quick. We've had extensive back and forth with the application team. All comments have either been addressed at this point. There's a few that are outstanding that, as I mentioned earlier, the city engineer are both fine with them being addressed post-approval. They are coordinating with DOT. Just one point of clarification, the owner of records needs to clarify who the applicant is on the application at this point, as the original applicant has been removed from the project. I don't know, Frank.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be me. I'm so sorry. I should have told you that, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could just send an email saying that,
Yep.
and then we can correct it in our portal.
My apologies. I will take care of that. Thank you. Thank you.
There's no freestanding signage proposed, which is desirable for the location and the building layout. We need a photometric. Need to add some bike parking for employees in the back. And then you're working on the drainage system No an M plan for that. Landscaping plan has been updated since the drafting of this memo. If you could, I don't remember if you went through the 10 special permit criteria a few months back, so we should probably go through those again for the record tonight. And then I have some conditions for approval, so should someone make a motion, but I'll hold off on that. If you want to go through those criteria real quick. And they are somewhat repetitive, so you can paraphrase. You don't have to read verbatim every answer to it.
Can you do that, Mr. Madden? Can you go through those criteria?
Yeah, I'm good with going over them now. I mean, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I can bring them up on the screen for you.
Okay, got it.
Do you see that?
Yes, I see it. Section 7.4. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we are making improvements on that. Yep. Point 1, clear. And Frank, you can interrupt me if you have any comments. Second.
Yeah, if you could just kind of narrate the way in which you think your project meets each of those criteria. We'd need to have that on record.
Understood. Do you want me to go over it verbally or send a statement?
No, you
Which
can
one
go
you
over
prefer?
it.
Verbally, and again, as Dan said, you don't have to read it word for word. You can paraphrase it, but it just needs to be put on the record during the hearing.
Understood. So I'm going to go over them now. So point 1, yes, the proposed development will utilize the existing curb cuts on the West Street, and we are proposing some concrete curb on the driveways. We are making those improvements to make it better than the existing conditions. Point number 2, the design elements of the development must be attractive and suitable. We're working with the landscape architect. I'm not just talking about hardscape elements in terms of structure, spacing, even sidewalks, even driveway entrances, even the aesthetics of the choice of our plant material. And we had some conversations about 2 months ago with the city staff. Point number 3, the location height of the buildings, walls, fences must such as will not hinder, discourage appropriate development use. We'll talk to the architects, Frank, about that to assure them that we have a proposed building that meets this comment.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
It's appropriate.
The proposed use or activity must have no adverse effect upon the neighboring area. No, we are not expecting that. No, there is no exposed artificial flashing. No loudspeakers. No repairs will be conducted on site. Everything is going to be inside the facility. Is that correct, Frank? Everything.
Correct.
Yep. And just quick point for everyone: we have 2 bays accessing the site. That's why, to make sure all the vehicles are going to be maintained inside. The design location and specific details. Yes, the proposed development is eliminating one of the existing 3 curbs. Yep. Proposed use will act an activity will not adversely affect. No, it's not. So no traffic conduct. We're not expecting it. Yep. Frank, you concur with this?
Correct.
Existing and proposed streets, driveways, size, Westminster condition, capacity to accommodate the proposed use. Yes, and also we're assuring that also with DOT through the radiuses, driveway improvements using their state standard details. Point number 7, the provisions of water supply, sewage. Oh, I remember this one. Yes, the proposed development, water and supply sewage disposal will be provided by Norwich City Utilities. We're still working on those to make sure we have those improved and properly designed. A comprehensive stormwater management plan has been provided with this application. We received the comments and we assure you we're going to comply with those and resubmit. Point number 8, proposed use activity, fire apparatus. Yes, the proposed 24 drive aisles provided fire apparatus and yes, and we're proposing actually, I think we're proposing approximately 24 feet. We will make sure those are visible. Appropriate consideration shall be given to the protection, preservation, or enhancement. Yep, this is reference to the landscape architecture comments. And one of the comments we received is not just only on the entrance. City recommended that we look also into the back of the property, and we are working on that too. Point number 10. Adequate provision, demonstration, proposed development will properly maintain. Yes, the proposed development will properly maintain to uphold the brand's image and reflect the city of Norwich standard. Yep, I concur and confirm. Next.
That's it.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Ben.
Sorry, I tried to go as fast as I can.
No, thank you.
No, that was great.
That was fine. Anything
Okay.
else, Dan?
Just back to my memo, I have a number of approval stipulations here that I have to waive the reading of, but I'll provide them to the clerk. For the record, I have some suggested reasons. Should someone make a motion for approval, I will quickly show you the exhibit list, so I don't have to read that. So it's on the recording, also be provided to the clerk. Switch back to the memo here. And I would just add one more here as part of the motion. This approval would expire and supersede special permit 23-09. If you remember a few years back, those of you that were on the commission, you approved a similar use here for the same type of business. It was a different company, a different group. But if this is approved tonight, it would supersede that, expire that.
Okay.
The design was completely different, so they wanted to come back and move them on.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, I think we can probably have a motion to close the public hearing now.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can I just see the landscape plan?
Of course. Let me see if I have it here. And we're still working on it. It's not even finished, but we're still making it more. Give me a second. I am sharing my screen. Can you see it?
No, yes.
Okay.
What do we have there?
Give me a second. I can pull up the tree list right here. So I'm going to do a split screen just to show you what are we proposing on the south side, on the entrance of the property. We have some Glen Gold tulip poplar, and we have some Acer Green Mountain maple trees, and we're proposing also some Quercus rupira or red oak, as you can see here. I will go into the back. We're proposing also some shrubs. We have those listed on the east side on my screen. And I believe it's a Juniper horizontalis, which is the blue chip juniper. We're proposing some of those here. We're proposing two different ground covers and some sod. Also, we're proposing some mulch, native stone mulch. And in the back, as you can see here, and I don't know, I'm sorry if I didn't go through the design detail. We do have some retaining wall, but we're also providing some screening of plant material. As you can see here, we have some also red oaks here, and I have some, I believe, gold tulip, and I have some apple surface berry, and yeah. And we're gonna have an irrigation plan too. Sorry to interrupt.
So you have Maple Street is a residential street, and so that retaining wall, how high is that?
It's not finalized, but it is ranging. I do have a grading plan here. Like I said, we are revising a few.
About, I don't need to know exactly.
I know. I just want to make sure. I don't want to give you an odd number. I have it between 5 to 7 foot. It ranges in some areas. We're trying to, yeah.
I would also.
So are you going to have a fence back there?
Yes, a 6 foot tall fence.
Yep.
In the back.
What type of fence?
It should be like a white vinyl fence.
Okay.
And it's wrapped around the entire, essentially the entire back end of this property, right? So think of it like an upside down U all the way up until you get to the front. So it's
Mhm.
pretty much enclosing those two side drive aisles. So you'll see the trees and the landscaping more so.
Mhm.
And you'll see the fence, right?
Okay, and so that should be good for screening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did also receive the recommendations 2 months ago when we had meetings with the city staff, Dan, Diane, and I forgot the third person, my apologies. They were emphasizing a lot more on the landscape requirements, making it more aesthetics. It's just not just meeting the minimum requirements. And the client was
Mhm.
immediately supportive of the idea. So, like I said, we're still working through those to make it more aesthetically pleasing.
So, I would be concerned for
Mhm.
Maple Street,
Okay.
you know, people seeing this from Maple. Sorry, that was my phone, my watch. So
Yeah.
I would be concerned with what people will see from Maple Street.
Yep, so Kathy, their landscaping buffer that they provided meets the new zoning regulations. It's pretty extensive buffer with the fence and the plantings and the existing trees that are up there that are worth saving. We've
Okay.
worked with them to ensure that it's screened properly.
Okay, so it's gonna have a 6-foot high fence and then it will have tulip
Plantings.
trees, did you say?
I have the trees here listed on my right side, and I have the symbols and the abbreviations here.
Maple,
QA, it's the
Red
red oak right
red
here.
oak,
The LG, it's the gold tulip. And I
Okay.
have the IG right here, which is right here. I have those shrubs on the screening, the small ones here. The green magic inkberry holly, and I do have the another shrub, AK, which is the Karen Gable azalea.
All
all right, the trees don't provide really a solid buffer, but I think with the fence there and the trees, it should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give you some feedback on that, Kathy, because that's kind of my neighborhood and I live
Mhm.
close to this area. It's kind of a steep hill that would go down
Right.
the back of this property, and the existing tree line that's there is a pretty good buffer now. And I
Okay.
think with adding the additional planting, I think the back of the building will be well hidden for any of the residents that are there on Maple Street.
Okay, thanks, Ella.
And I would also mention that the retaining wall as well is also an added feature, right? So with the elevation change too, that helps.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for explaining that to me.
I have a question. Exiting the building, is it both left and right hand turns?
Exiting the building.
Yes, when you leave the place onto West Main Street. Is it left, coming out, is you going to be able to make a left turn and a right turn if you need to? Or is it just a right turn only?
Let me share my screen. I think Tarek might have dropped with a connection issue here. I can show that quick here.
The question is regarding traffic coming out of the
Yep.
shop.
I think he heard you. Tarek just got dropped from the meeting, so Frank's going to answer the question.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have one drive access here that's coming into the property, and then one drive that's leaving the property.
And they can go either way?
Left and right, correct. When exiting. Is the question regarding exiting or entering?
Exit.
Yeah, either way.
So Dennis, I can provide a little more to that though. They're working with DOT in anticipation of the West Main Street project. Eventually that'll be right in, right out only, because they'll be in.
That answers my question. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
My apologies. I got kicked out. I got disconnected. My apologies. I'm back.
You're good, Tarek. I was able to answer the question.
I think we're good. So,
This is big, and I just have a quick question. I noticed that the lighting plan hadn't been submitted yet. Is that going to be coming, and is the CEO going to review that?
Yes, and we received it as a comment about 1.5 months ago. The reason why we haven't submitted it, I want to make sure our layout is 100% finalized, addressing all the comments, parking, landscape, you name it. I will immediately propose the photometric plan, and I will include it in our submittal.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
all right, anybody want to make a motion to close the public hearing, please?
This is Ella. I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
You have a second?
This is
Second.
Kathy. I'll make the second to close the hearing.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the public hearing is closed. Does somebody want to make a motion in connection with the application itself?
I'll make a motion. This is Kathy. I'll make a motion to approve the application based on the application conforming to the zoning regulation section 3.2 and chapter 6, 7, and 7.4B and 7.4C of the zoning regulations, and also with all of the requirements as noted by the town the planning staff, and that they also address the engineering, and that's it.
And could you include, Kathy, that it supersedes the previous
Okay, and that
for this
it
location?
supersedes, yes, application 23-09.
All right. Okay, with those additions and the motion being made, does anybody want to make a second?
This is Ella. I'll second.
So we have a motion by Kathy and a second by Ella for approval with conditions. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so it's approved with conditions as stated in the motion. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
You're welcome. Next matter on the agenda is special 2602, 324 Norwich Avenue. It's a request for a special permit in accordance with zoning regulation 4.1 for a mixed-use building with a proposed grocery store and one residential unit on the upper floor. The application and property of Jehu Lecante, Assessor's Map 55, Block 2, Lot 2, General Commercial Zone. This was tabled from April 21st. I don't think we opened the public hearing then, did we? No. Okay, so does somebody want to make a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Okay, was that Dennis?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Ella. I'll second.
A motion and a second to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so public hearing is now open. Is there somebody here to speak on behalf of the application?
Yes, this is Ellen Bartlett with CLA Engineers. We're located at 317 Main Street, Norwich, and I'm representing the owner and applicant. And I believe he's here in the audience if we have any questions for him as the project goes. As was stated, the project is located at 324 Norwich Avenue, and it's in an area of the city where there is limited options for purchasing groceries. The site is presently developed as a two-story residential building containing 2 apartments, one on each floor. The special permit proposes to convert the first floor apartment into a neighborhood grocery store and maintain the second floor as a single-family apartment. The property is zoned general commercial. A mixed-use building is allowed with a special permit. The retail store is allowed with a zoning permit. And because there is an apartment upstairs, we're here for a special permit. The statement of use report submitted with the application outlines in detail how the proposed project is in accordance with the special permit criteria as listed in the zoning regulations, section 7.4.c.8. The project proposes a new parking lot in the rear of the site, which conforms to the parking requirements as listed in the zoning regulations for the intended uses. There's no dumpster enclosure proposed for the site. The owner proposes to use the reciprocals for trash and for recycling that are provided by the city. We're proposing a short chain link fence in the front with privacy slats. It'll be black coated, and he's proposing to store them behind the fence so they'll be out of sight, and then bring them out to the curb when it's collection day. The stormwater of the site presently drains to Norwich Avenue into DOT's drainage system. The project has been submitted to DOT, and we have received their conditional review. We've gotten 2 letters. We addressed all their comments, and then the second letter, they asked for the final approval from the city and also some more detail on how we're going to rebuild a small portion, a 5-foot section of retaining wall out in front, because we're taking out a lot of the retaining wall to put a code compliant driveway in that's 24 feet wide. The plan has been reviewed by the city engineer, and we have received a memo from Jeff Dewey stating that we've addressed all of his comments and concerns. The building's front facade will remain the same. We propose to enhance the front yard by providing plantings as shown on this sheet. And in conclusion, all of staff's review comments have been addressed. And if this special permit is approved, we will then submit a check print of the final plans for staff to review and get their final approval prior to submitting the required Mylars, paper copies, and digital files for the final plans in accordance with section 7.4.c.16. So like I said, I'm here, and also the owner applicant's here if you have any questions for us.
Are there any questions by the commission members?
I have one question. Looking at a photo of that building, it looks like there is some sort of basement access that's under that front porch. Is that going to remain like basement access, or what's going to be done with that?
That will remain as basement access. There may be some storage in the basement, but there's no real work proposed as far as renovations in the basement.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, hearing none, is there anybody else who wants to speak in favor of the application? Anybody who wants to speak in favor of the application? Last call, anybody else want to speak in favor? Hearing none, anybody wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Third time, anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a staff report. Dan?
Sure. As Ellen mentioned, all of our comments have been addressed at this point, the city engineer and myself. We got the second DOT letter this morning. She did discuss about the trash and recycling, storage and pickup. They did add some additional landscaping based on my last memo. Ellen, if you could go over the 10 special permit criteria, kind of how we did for the last application. You can kind of paraphrase that. You don't have to read it all verbatim.
Okay. There's 13 criteria, and the first one is by redeveloping this existing commercial residential property, the project is consistent with the current Norwich Plan of Conservation and Development's growth strategy. We're promoting economic development and investment to support community vitality and stability. We're supporting a range of housing opportunities and choices and promoting appropriate development patterns, mixed uses, which is recommended. Number 2, the proposed development is a mixed-use commercial residential and has been in harmony with the development of the neighborhood. Number 3, the exterior of the existing building is not going to change substantially aside from some landscaping upgrades in the front of the yard. The height of the building will not change and no new walls are proposed. As the site is already developed, the proposed improvements should not hinder or discourage the appropriate development or use of adjacent land and buildings. Number 5, the project will not generate any new noise. All existing exterior lighting will be replaced with lighting fixtures that will be full cutoff and zoning compliant. And we did submit a photometric plan that shows 0 trespass on the neighboring properties from the lighting. Number 6, all interior renovations will be in accordance with the building code and will conform to all health and safety requirements. The building permit will be obtained before the renovations are started. Number 7, the property accesses from Norwich Avenue, which is a DOT road. The plans have been submitted to DOT for review, and we have provided a second review letter from them. The plans have been revised to address their comments. The proposed use will not result in any adverse impacts on safety in Norwich Avenue. We did add at the request of staff, we did add some no parking signs out in front so that nobody's going to park on Norwich Avenue and walk into the facility. Number 8, parking proposed on the site plan is in accordance with the zoning regulations for the proposed uses. Number 9, Norwich Avenue is a DOT roadway and has been constructed to handle the traffic that will be generated by this project. Number 10, the existing water, sewer, and drainage systems in and along Norwich Avenue have the capacity to serve the project and conform to acceptable engineering practices and will not burden the capacity of the utilities. Number 11, the project has been designed to maximize access for fire and police protection. Number 12, as this is an existing developed site, there were no unique resources on the site. The whole site was already developed. And number 13, the project proposes to renovate and make new improvements to the existing building and site. All the proposed improvements will be low maintenance and sustainable. I think that covers the criteria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to note that there's no freestanding signage proposed for the business because there's really no room with the right of way out front. Ellen, the signage that it's proposed to be on the face of the building, is that correct?
Yes, there is going to be signage on the face of the building, and we'll have to get once they have that design, they'll have to get a zoning permit and make sure it conforms with the regulations.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it for my memo at this point. I have some conditions to go with the approval here and some suggested reasons if someone should choose to make a motion for approval. That's to waive the reading of all of it. And I will show the exhibit list. Here on the video, and that's to waive the reading of that as well. I will provide it to the clerk for the record.
Good. That being said, can we have a motion to close the public hearing?
This
I'll
is
make
Ella.
that
I'll make that motion.
Is that Ella?
Yes.
Okay, so motion to close the public hearing by Ella. Is there a second?
I'll second that. This is Kathy.
Okay, and a second by Kathy. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is closed. At this point, does anybody wish to make a motion to address the merits of the application?
I'll make that motion. This is Kathy. Motion to approve the application as it conforms with the zoning regulations, section 3.2C, 4.1, chapter 6, and zoning regulation, section 7.4. And I would, and I recommend that all of the conditions that the planners have outlined be met in their memo.
Okay. So you made a motion to approve with the conditions set out in the planner's memo.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
This is Ella, I'll second.
Okay, so we have the motion to approve with the conditions and the second by Ella. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so that is approved. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bartlett.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome. Okay, so moving on under new business, we've already postponed the Broadway application 26-03. So that's coming up again in June, and then on to special permit 2605, 612, and 620 West Thames Street. Request for a special permit in accordance with zoning regulation 3.1B for demolition of an existing single-family residential structure and outbuildings to construct a new multifamily development for a total of 40 dwelling units in 2 buildings with associated site improvements. Application and property of Belwinder Singh, Assessor's Map 129, Block 1, lots 24 and 24.1. It's a multi-family zone. So can we have a motion to open a public hearing on this matter?
So moved, Dennis Jenkins.
Thank you, Dennis. Do we have a second?
This is Ella, I'll second.
A motion by Dennis, second by Ellen to open the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Public hearing is open. Is there somebody here to speak in connection with this application for the applicant?
Yes, there is. For the record, my name is Brandon Hanfield, professional engineer, licensed in the state of Connecticut with Yantic River Consultants, located in Lebanon, Connecticut. Also here with us this evening is Jack Kemper, the project architect with Kemper Associates Architects, LLC, and the owner's representative, Phil Biondo. We're here to present a new multifamily development at 612 and 620 West Thames Street, which is also Route 32. The owner and applicant is proposing to demolish the building, existing single-family building, and build 40 units. As such, we're here requesting the special permit approval because it's over 20 units, as well as it's located within the CAM overlay district. So this plan is also subject to the coastal site plan review. And I will share my screen. So starting off with where we are in the top right corner, you can see the site location.
Yeah, we don't have.
Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun on you here. There we go. That's
Thank you.
better. Can everybody see that?
Now we can.
Great. All right. So top right corner of the title sheet we submitted to you is the site location. It's highlighted in green here. So it is in the southeasterly corner of Norwich, just north of Thames Cove and the town of Montville. And from the site, you can see the Mohegan Sun Casino. And here you also have a zoning map inset. The site is right here within the multifamily district. And you can see the coastal area boundary just to the north of our site. So our site's entirely within that coastal boundary. Moving to the graphic itself.
Brandon, if I could just interrupt you for a second, we've got a number of people in the audience. If you could zoom in on your screen so they can see it a little easier.
I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our site here is outlined in orange. So it has frontage on West Thames Street to the north here. To the right would be the Cove View condominiums, which is an existing multifamily development. I believe it's a 7-story building with access to West Thames. Moving counterclockwise, the property abuts the residential properties to the south along Trading Cove Drive, which intersects back out to the west with West Thames. And going further counterclockwise, we also abut residentially developed properties that have access to West Thames Street. And last, across the street would be the Norwich Inn and Spa. And again, that coastal area boundary is just to the north of our site, so we're fully within that boundary. The first sheet I have for you is this is the existing conditions plan, which is our survey that was prepared by CHA, overlaid on top of a 2025 aerial. So you can see what we have for improvements. Again, the boundary is outlined in orange here with the frontages, so it's the same orientation. Trading Cove to the right. And before we get to what's on the site, you also see a number of easements. So this property was subdivided in 2020 into 2 separate lots. So there's a small 0.66 acre lot, which is 612 West Thames Street here with frontage on West Thames. And then the balance of the property out back with also this 60-foot frontage onto West Thames is 620. And that is 5.2 acres, totaling 5.94 acres. There are a number of easements on our property or in favor of this property. They're highlighted in yellow. So I'll start with the one along our frontage, which is West Thames Street. This was granted as a sightline or grading easement in favor of 586, which is Cove View. And the purpose of that was to provide for sightline improvements for their existing driveway. And we'll get into the fact that we are proposing to do that as part of this application. The second easement is this area here, which I'll zoom into so people can see it. So this is the existing driveway that serves Cove View. We do have an easement over that existing driveway entrance for the purposes of accessing these properties. This easement here is a water connection easement in favor of our property over 586. And making our way down, there's an easement over 586 again in favor of our property for the purposes of connecting sewer and drainage. That easement extends up to 612 West Thames Street, which will no longer be necessary as we're going to be combining the properties. And the last easement I will discuss is an existing conservation easement that parallels the homes that are along Cove View Drive, or I'm sorry, Trading Cove Drive to the south. So everywhere to the south of this green line is a conservation easement that was approved as part of the original subdivision. Going to the use of the property, what you see in gray and orange are all the existing improvements that are currently on the property today. So we have the single family home on West Thames Street. We have the driveway serving that existing home with direct access to West Thames. And we have a few outbuildings. A portion of this appears to be remnants of a house that used to exist here and was likely demolished as part of the construction of Cove View condominiums. So that garage still exists in a portion of the driveway. There's also a retaining wall along the entire frontage of this property in West Thames Street with some pretty dense screening vegetation that also limits the sight line. All of those improvements will be demolished. So the houses, the driveways, the septic, the retaining wall along Route 32, as well as all the vegetation to provide those sight lines. That's part of the easement. And the last thing I'll point out is I do show the limit of our clearing in green. So this is kind of an overlay of our proposed development, but to show you the limits of what we will be removing. And you can see in the area below, most of the front has landscape trees that have matured quite nicely over the past few years. And then an area of clearing back here. That is the location of a former outbuilding, likely an agricultural building. It was quite large. That basically stretched in this area here. That's no longer, it's been demolished sometime since 2000. So this area is pretty clear, but it has started to grow back in with understory invasive growth. Pretty much covers existing. So what we are proposing is a multifamily development in 2 buildings. Building A is an apartment building directly fronting West Thames Street. That building will have 36 units, of which 8 will be 2-bedroom and 20, if I got my math right, 28 will be 1-bedroom. And then behind that building or further south will be a 4-unit townhome building, each with 3 bedrooms. And I would like to mention, I want to correct my narrative. I said the townhomes were 2 bedrooms in my narrative, but they are 3-bedroom homes as submitted by the architect. Access to the property will be from the existing driveway entrance serving Cove View condominiums through that easement we discussed on the last page. It'll be a 20-foot access drive serving an internal loop in the parking areas for both Building A and Building B. There are a total of 55 parking spaces, which exceeds your zoning minimum, of which 3 are handicapped accessible and 4 are EV, and an additional 4 will be compact spaces.
Brandon, can you make it a little bit bigger?
Sure. The next screen might help. I was just covering the general stuff here. While we're on this screen, before we go to the next, this shows the outline of the main recreation area here in magenta. That is natural landscaped trails that will lead from the development pad up top down to a passive recreation area below. That'll be a selectively cleared area. And as you can see from the existing contours underneath, it flattens out in that area, which is the back of the former barn or outbuilding. And there's a ledge outcropping that overlooks Thames Cove as well as the Mohegan Sun. So when you get down there, our intent is to get folks down there and have an area for community gathering as well as a small dog park or a natural dog park in that area. But I will go into the recreation a little more in detail in a bit. So this one zooms in for you, so it's a little closer. Again, we have our main access drive connecting to Cove View condominiums driveway here. We have a circular pattern, so you can go in either direction to provide for the parking. I will say the townhomes have parking in their driveways as well as a garage. So each one of these is 2 parking spaces, and there's 2 additional adjacent to the end units. The rest of the spaces are to serve Building A or overflow visitor parking. Pedestrian access is provided from all of the parking areas into the main door of each building. So to the north serving Building A, we have a sidewalk along our parking areas going into 2 doors that serve the units and a 3rd door that serves the main lobby of the building. And for the townhomes, each have a stoop and steps into their unit. We're also proposing to connect this sidewalk to the existing sidewalk along West Thames Street here. So there is a sidewalk along Route 32 here that we will be connecting to. And then we're also connecting that sidewalk across our driveway to the recreation path that leads below. Bicycle parking, we do provide for 2 areas of parking. So Building A will be served by a pad as well as bike racks in this location here, right to the southeast of the building. And then the townhomes will each be able to serve or store their bikes within their garage areas. And then at the recommendation of planning, as you'll see in the planning memo later, there was a recommendation to cover the long-term storage associated with Building A, and we are agreeable to doing that. The last thing to cover on this sheet would be our trash enclosure. So we do have one trash enclosure to serve both buildings. It is fully enclosed as well as a concrete pad with gates and also a pedestrian access so people can walk or drive their trash to that area. All right. I won't spend too much time on grading, drainage, and utilities, but the purpose of this site was to generally balance the materials on site. So there will be a cut on the westerly boundary, so about halfway through building A and up to building B will be a cut, and then everywhere to the right will be a fill. So our driveway is basically on that cut fill line right through here. Stormwater management will consist of collection on our site, treatment, infiltration, and retention before we discharge at the northeasterly corner of our property here. There is an existing pond and wetland area in this location that is partially on our property and partially on the Cove View condominium property. Our system fully treats our stormwater in accordance with the 2023 Stormwater Quality Manual, and also attenuates peak flows for up to the 100-year storm before we discharge from our site. Sewer is available to us. I'll briefly go to the next page. At the southeast corner of our site through that easement onto the Cove View property. So we will be connecting to the sewer, an existing sewer manhole here, which is just to the south of the Cove View condominium building, as you can see here. And we'll be running a new sewer main within that easement in a northerly direction up to our property. So it'll be within that landscape trail and then brought up onto the top platform where we'll serve both building B to the south and building A with laterals. Water is available to us in West Thames Street. There is an existing 12-inch water main. There's actually two water mains. NPU prefers that we tap into the 12-inch. So we are crossing West Thames Street with both domestic and fire suppression connections and bringing them onto our site, where it will serve both building A with fire and domestic and building B, which is the townhomes with just domestic. And then electric will connect to West Thames Street as well. All right. We do have an erosion sedimentation control plan in compliance with the 2023 guidelines. There were some comments from the city engineer, Jeff Dewey, that we can address and update this plan in accordance with his comments. We did submit a lighting plan. So there are 9 pole-mounted area fixtures proposed. They're shown in red throughout the driveway and parking areas. The fixture itself is a Lumark Prevail LED mounted 15 feet above the top of the base. It is a downlight with full cutoff that is dark sky approved. And as you can see, our intent here was to provide sufficient lighting for our parking areas to get residents into the buildings and minimize any encroachment off our property. So we tried to achieve a minimum of 0.2 foot candles horizontally on all parking areas, and then only our driveway here with limiting any lighting into surrounding landscaped areas or properties. And our landscape plan, which I have some notes for here. We designed in accordance with Section 9 of the regulations. So the first and the main focus of our approach was to maintain as many of the existing natural trees as we could, specifically to the west and south of our property that is on the steeper slopes that abut Trading Cove Drive to the south. It's not shown here, but if you scroll up, you can see all this area here will be maintained. So not just the conservation easement itself, but also an additional 100 feet plus of naturally vegetated embankment. The second part of our landscape plan, and as I scroll to it, We have incorporated native plants as much as we could into our plan with no invasive species. And we have the frontage of our property here along West Theme Street will be fully landscaped from the building up to the existing sidewalk. Again, this embankment will be regraded to provide sightlines for the driveway. After regrading it, it will be vegetated up to that sidewalk. And then we're incorporating in a planted buffer, if you will, that consists of native flowering dogwoods, as well as in between that would be a Corniceraceae or a red twig dogwood in between to create kind of a hedgerow between the sidewalk and our building. As you come onto the site, there will be flowering trees to the left or on the east side of the driveway. And in between those flowering trees will be a gray twig dogwood, or which is more of a hedge dogwood, a little bit lower. And on the right side will be maple shade trees. And once you get onto the property, between in this landscaped area here, this landscaped island, we have a variety of grasses as well as shrub roses, and then foundation plantings along the building, building A, along the frontage of building A. And then on building B, because it is the north side of the building, we have more of a ground cover approach that is suitable for shady areas that will fill in between the main access to each unit. And the last thing I will point out are we do have screening between building A and the property to the west along the entire building. Those will consist of green giant arborvitaes that will grow into a suitable screening after a few years. I think that covers all of the landscaping. The last thing I'll mention, the interior landscaping we have, this island is 2,500 square feet in area, which is over 4 times the minimum area required for interior landscaping. And then our entire parking perimeter is also landscaped with lawn or shrubs in accordance with this plan. So with that, I can either take questions on the site plan or hand it over to our project architect, Jack Kemper, to talk about the building. You're up, Jack.
I just had to unmute. Good evening, Jack Kemper, Kemper Associates Architects in Farmington. We've been working on this building for quite a while. Our main focus has been the 40 unit building. As Brandon said, it's 36 one bedrooms. I think
36 total.
No, 36 total. 25 one bedrooms and 11 two bedrooms. 9 of the one bedroom units have like office spaces near the entry too, so they have a little extra space there too. And a couple of the ones on either end on the 3rd floor, it's a 3-story building, are really kind of cool loft kind of units with cathedral ceilings, and that was it was designed to react to the new height requirements, and it actually I think worked in our benefit because the height requirements are now a vector from an angle from the sideline, and we just used that angle to design the building. We wanted to, when I first went down there, I walked around the Norwich Inn and Spa across the street, which is, absolutely wonderful and has great old architecture, and wanted to take some of the elements from there, the gable roofs, I really like the chimneys on there and the brick, and wanted to sort of incorporate some of those features in here. So we wanted to make the building look like it belongs there. It also looks like we tried to make this building a series of masses. It's not just one big building. It moves in and out, and it sort of cascades down to either end. A couple things we wanted to do. All the units have balconies, or there's one unit has actually a second floor patio on the over the near the entry. We wanted to design so that they had big windows, balconies. We don't think we're going to get all-time views of the cove, but I think we will get some seasonal views from the upper floors. So we wanted to take advantage of that as much as possible, and try to use the brick and the chimneys to kind of help us give the building its sort of order and proportion, and try and make it look like it belongs there. The townhouses, Brandon, if you want to go down those, take a look at go back up to the side. I'm sorry, I'm ordering
problem.
Brandon around. That's very, very rude of me, but
I'll get there.
yeah, the side views show the chimneys, how we're doing that. That's directly from the from the Norwich Inn, and I think it's a nice way to sort of give a little more sort of substance to the center of the building. And then you can go on down to the townhouses. And then the floor plans, the floor plans are there. If you guys have questions, happy to answer them. But they're nice floor plans of apartments, open kind of concept. Everybody has a balcony, and so there's two stairs, a stair on either end. It's a pretty efficient layout. There's not a big clubhouse here, but there's a nice lobby on the first floor that I could see as kind of a library. Yeah, there, kind of alcove, kind of something nice for when guests come in. The entrances for the stairs are more, like I'm going home and I don't really need to linger in the lobby. And then we'll go to the townhouses. And they're pretty good sized units. They're about 1,694 square feet. They each have a garage. They have little recessed entry front porches. They're designed again an open concept on the first floor. And these, will overlook that nice sort of wooded area to the south of the site. So I think they'll have a nice feel to that. And they're 2.5 bath with a laundry. They're nice places to live. So I'm happy to take any questions about it. That I just wanted to kind of give a short overview.
Any members of the commission have any questions?
I do. So you said it's going to have brick, and I saw some brick accent there. And what's the rest of it?
Oh, the rest of it, we usually like to do, we're okay with vinyl siding if it's done correctly. So we're looking at vinyl siding for the clapboards, but what we want to do is use composite trim. And so the siding goes behind the trim and you don't see the J channel. So so the trim is all composite. And then we're doing some composite panels, kind of connecting some of the windows on the front, on the elevations. You can see that on the street elevation, the north elevation. And then the roof would be architectural shingles.
Brandon, can you make it a little bit bigger, the picture?
Sure.
I appreciate you trying to replicate some of the details from the Norwich Inn, and I think this would fit in nicely.
The Norwich Inn was a real treat to just walk around.
It's beautiful.
Any other questions? Anything else from the applicant?
Not for now. Happy to hear any comments that come up and then conclude afterwards.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Please let me finish. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Okay. Is there anybody who wants to speak in opposition to the application?
Is this where we ask questions?
Well, I'm looking to see if anybody wants to actually speak. If you have questions, we'll take those in a moment.
No, I just have a question.
Okay. So is there anybody who wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Last time, anybody who wishes to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing none, then we'll open it up to questions. So Ma'am, you have a question. Could you just tell us your name and?
Sure.
Frank, if you don't mind coming to the
Yeah,
podium.
to the
if you have
podium,
a question, it
because-
helps with the recording pickup. Thank you.
And state and spell your name, please, too.
Sure, my name is Suzanne Megna, Suzanne I live at 586 West Cove on West Thame, Coveview. And I just have a couple of questions about the easements you talked about, Brandon. And by the way, the presentation was wonderful. I know that at one point you're talking about an easement of our for overflow of our sewer system or our systems. And I just don't know how, it looks like you're going to connect with a pipe that's further down the hill. I just wanted to know how that would affect the frog pond. I don't know if you know about the frog pond, but that's up at the top. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I think so, and I'll direct it to the commission. I'm happy to take all the questions at once or answer them one at a time, whatever the chairman prefers.
Okay, my second.
Can you just go in order, Brandon, answer questions as they come up, please?
Absolutely, no problem. So I'm assuming this is the frog pond here.
Your share is.
Oh, I didn't share.
We're
That's
looking
so
at your screen right now.
I can see it. All right.
You got good eyes, though.
I do. If you could see my screen, you'd have very good eyes. I'm assuming this is the frog pond. I'm not aware.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Can you make your screen
Yes.
bigger, Brandon?
Yes, it is. Okay.
Okay. So no, we aren't impacting the frog pond. Right now, based on what I saw in the field, that existing pond is pretty much isolated and only discharges when it breaches over this stone wall in this location here. So there was no outlet that I could see. Our stormwater will discharge into that pond, but what we are releasing into that pond is equivalent to what gets drains to that property today. So first, we're going to treat it. So that's the first 1.3 inches of rainfall that falls on our property will be fully retained on our property without discharge. And any storm greater than that will discharge to that pond, but the outflow that currently goes to that pond is matched or less based on our design.
Perfect. Okay, and my next question was the easement where you're coming into our driveway. Now, you're going to be using the same driveway that we have, correct?
That's correct.
And will the construction vehicles come through there also, or?
As of right now, we are showing a construction entrance off of that. So we do show, and I'll go to this sheet here. So we are showing a construction entrance off the back side of that property, which will be past the existing pavement. And in that easement, we do have access directly to Route 32 through the existing driveway, but we will lose that access once the building is being constructed. So we are proposing to use your driveway for construction, and we are happy to add in there, discuss it with you, requirements to repair anything that happens with construction vehicles, or find an alternate solution of using the area next to the driveway. But yes, we are using that.
That would be something that I'd like to discuss further, or we would, the HOA group and our manager. The other thing I want to ask about is the increase of traffic. Has anybody looked at that, how that's going to affect? Because as you know, coming up that hill and having double the amount of traffic coming out and in, and then having the spa could be a problem.
So we did consider it. So 40 units is a low generator of traffic. So peak hour, you'd be looking at maybe 24 or 26 vehicles per hour. So not a lot of vehicles added. But what we are proposing to do is the sightline improvements that were stipulated in the original dedication of the easement. So for the record, these are filed on the City of Norwich land records, and this is the original subdivision plan. You can see that the easement shown on this plan with portion of lot 23, which is co-view in favor of lot 24-1 for basically entrances here, and then here's that sight line. So this is a 20-foot wide grading easement in favor of your property, or 586 West Thames, for sightline improvements. So our project, we are, get rid of that, if it goes away. We are regrading this entire frontage to provide you with improved sight lines right up to our property corner. So the retaining wall will be removed. All of the arborvitaes and screening vegetation that obstructs the sight line will be removed. The retaining walls will be removed. I think I said that, and the entire shoulder graded back, so that when you're on the exit lane here looking left, your sight lines will no longer be obstructed by any part of this property. So that will be a substantial improvement to that existing driveway.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else in the audience with questions?
My name is Donna Calicut, and I have it written on here, so. I am at
Spell your last name.
Callicutt. And I'm at 18 Trading Cove. So, couple of questions. The limited area for passive recreation. I'm familiar with the area you're talking about, and when you brought up a dog park, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. So the area of passive recreation is right here, which again, the old barn was right about here, and this was the backyard of that barn. There's a ledge outcropping here, so this is the flat area. And what we envision would be more of a natural dog park condition where trees aren't cleared. You have a small fenced in area that would be not like a rigid white fence, but more like a page fence that's a little more informal and just provides an enclosed space for dogs to be without being on a leash. So residents can walk their dogs down into this area. It would be shady, selectively cleared, which would just be the underbrush and invasives that have grown in, maintaining the existing mature tree cover and having a shady area for a natural dog park. And then a small area at the ledge outcropping here looking southwest or more west here, I guess, overlooking the cove with some Adirondack chairs or possibly picnic tables where residents can gather, sit, and that's about it though. We're not intending anything intense in there, no hardscape or physical improvements, more just as a place for our residents to be able to walk to, that's safe and open.
Okay, my question is, you say small fenced-in area. What's your definition of small?
Well, the area itself is 20,000 square feet, but that includes all the paths and the slopes above it. So I would say that's about 1/8 of an acre. I can measure it for you.
Just, everybody's definition of small.
No, it's a fair question. Fair question.
Size of my backyard, I get what you mean by small.
So it's about a 60 by 60 area that could possibly be fenced in.
Okay, and then the total area of open area or you said you're not going to take down any of the trees. I'm familiar with that area up there. I know there's a lot of dead trees and overgrowth and all that.
Yeah.
On Trading Cove Drive, we were slammed with a lot of trees being taken down illegally, and they said, oops, we're sorry, and they paid a total of $1,100 fine, and they really created a disaster at the end of our street. So it takes me to another question about how are we going to be assured that these mature trees are not, whoops, sorry, we took them down. And then people from the code view also are missing these beautiful trees, because you did make a comment, which I know exactly what you're talking about, that your townhouse people will probably have beautiful views when their trees are not blooming, and they will. It's going to be beautiful. But what are you going to do to maintain, to make sure that your people don't go in there and take out mature trees that cannot be replaced in my lifetime?
It's a fair question, and I'm partially aware of the trees that were cleared on the abutting property. What I can say is that the approval of this plan and the notes in it require that a licensed land surveyor flag or delineate the limits of clearing. That's part of the erosion control plan, and once those are flagged, the clearing can commence as part of the installation of erosion controls. And so we can control what gets cut down as part of construction with that. In terms of how this site will function, the apartment building itself, it's not an association, it's owned. So the folks that live here aren't necessarily owners that can make decisions about tree clearing. It's a common owner. And they're the one applying for this application. So the intent is not to cut the trees down. I hear what is being said though, and we appreciate that, and we certainly don't want to go back down that road which you had to before. So we're happy to listen to the commission and how we can provide guidelines to make sure that tree clearing doesn't occur, but I can say it's not part of this plan and it can't be part of the construction. And we're happy to find a way to preserve those trees to make the community below us happy.
Okay, well, that would be the commission that would have to protect us there.
I can speak on behalf of the owner, and whatever the plan.
You have to say your name, Phil, and you have to stand up, so.
Okay.
Just so people know who you are, and it's on recorded.
Phil Biondo, here as the owner's representative for Bulwers and on behalf of the owner will not take any additional steps beyond what has been shown on the plan, the limits of clearing. He'll guarantee that. I will guarantee that for him. But and it will be under his ownership, under construction until such time, and he'll be managing it. But as Brandon said, these are rental units. They're not intended to be an HOA or a homeowners association. So we would adhere to the limits defined by the site erosion control measure that.
Okay, the next question, is there going to be any blasting of any rock? As there was at the Covio, which incurred damages to people's foundations, etc.
I believe the question was, will there be any blasting?
Yes. Correct.
Sorry, it was hard to hear.
I'm sorry.
There may be. We don't know the quality of the rock that exists, but we do know in this area here, there is a shallow occurrence of bedrock, and we are proposing excavation in that area. So there may be blasting required. If it is required, the appropriate permits would have to be obtained, I believe, from the fire marshal. And then the appropriate surveys of adjacent properties would have to be performed in advance of that work. So I don't personally pull those permits, but I do know when you do blasting that the surveys are required to be performed in advance. And in many instances, we recommend that a video survey be performed in advance to make sure we have a good documentation of existing conditions, just to make sure those instances don't occur again.
I need a little help here. Is that when you say surveys in advance of our homes, of our basements?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure you addressed this in your plans and whatnot. Our sewer pumping station, which is down, the Trading Cove Association sold that land to the city to build that back 40 something years ago. That is capable to handle this additional sewage. It is pretty ancient. I'm just asking. I would hate to see 40 apartments and have our sewer. As we know, our sewer costs are extremely expensive in Norwich, like I pay $160 a month for sewer, just for sewer. So, you know, just.
Yeah, the plan set has been referred to MPU for comment and review, so they're aware of any issues that may arise, or I'll let Brandon answer. I need to jump in front of you there.
Sure, no problem. I appreciate it. So we have had conversations with MPU about the existing sewer. We are connecting to a gravity system that's on the Coveview property. Part of what we need to do is a condition survey of that sanitary sewer because it is private leading down to Trading Cove Drive. So we will be doing basically a camera inspection of that existing system. And then if no flags have been raised by NPU other than doing a condition survey about the capacity of that pump station, which I imagine is owned by NPU. But I will certainly bring that up with them to make sure that their capacity analysis was completed.
Another incident that we went through when the Coveview was being built was the during the building process, the workers would, and it tended to be mainly on the weekends, would discharge, and this probably can't happen with the way you design this, but what are the plans for them discharging they were discharging their water from their sheetrocking and everything else to the point that there was actually a bloom in the cove that it was over many weekends, and you know, I wasn't there because I'm not there in the weekends in the summer. And you know, what are you going to do with all of your workers constructing this? Where does all that wastewater go from sheetrocking and construction and cement work and all of that until this other system? You know, like you're not going to be connected to the sewer. I'm just concerned about where all that water is going to go.
So we do have in our erosion control plan 2 temporary siltation areas. Those are for the discharge of stormwater from our construction site. Any debris or washing of concrete trucks should not be directed to these areas. They should be directed to a separate area that is adjacent to the work area so that it can dry and be removed. So I will say this, that is not an appropriate practice and it won't occur here. Concrete washouts will not occur into our silt traps and they will not discharge from the site. So only construction stormwater, which is rainfall falling on the construction site itself, will be discharged into our silt traps, which will have both wet and dry storage sufficient for our construction activities in the exposed soils before they discharge off our site. And on top of that, we also have a full perimeter of silt fence around the whole site. And then in the sensitive areas, we have a double barrier protection, which would either be silt fence backed up with hay bales or silt fence backed up with wood chips that will come from the clearing debris that is chipped on site. So there should be no discharge of any concrete washings or any other materials into the wetlands themselves.
Okay. That's all that I have. I just would like to object to the dog park. I think that you should, my personal opinion is that people should be able to walk their dogs, but that if they want to use a dog park, they should go to the Norwich Dog Park over on Asylum Avenue like everybody else in Norwich. I just think that having multiple dogs there together is not appropriate in basically a single family neighborhood. I know this is zoned multifamily, but it is in a single family neighborhood. And I would ask that you do not have a dog park that is where we have to listen to dogs barking. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public? Anybody online with questions? Hearing none, do we have staff report? Sure.
Okay, well, Brandon gave an extensive presentation.
Yeah,
This
thank you,
was
Brandon.
reviewed or routed out for comments. Minimal comments, nothing from the CEO, minimal comments from the fire marshal, standard comments. City engineer is fine with approval. Anything that needs outstanding to be addressed post-approval. Brandon met all of the landscaping requirements of the new zoning regulations. My comments about bicycle parking, he said tonight, are going to be addressed. Don't really have that many other comments because they kind of met everything from the beginning. I do have a list of approval stipulations here. I will quickly show the exhibit list. For this, the record, and then back to that.
Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about the CAM?
Yep. So this would move, so I can move the screen. Thank you. It was referred to the state of Connecticut DEP for CAM review. I got that back this morning. I passed it along to Brandon. They're fine with the application. They have a short checklist that they send along. It's been passed along to Brandon to incorporate. So if someone does choose to make a motion for approval after the public hearing is closed, I have suggested reasons for the CAM application, which we always handle first, and then some suggested reasons for the special permit application.
Okay. All right, that all being said, I think it would be appropriate to have a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
This is Ella. I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ella. Do we have a second?
Dennis seconds.
Okay, so Ella and Dennis.
Before we close the hearing, I just have a few questions. I didn't think can I ask them?
Sure.
Okay, I just was wondering. I didn't really feel like they addressed the sewer connection thing well enough. And it sounds like it's still that NPU hasn't really reviewed the whole sewer connection there.
So Kathy, the Wetlands Commission approved the sewer connection with the subdivision approval back in 2020. And then it was also reapproved for this project in the fall, Brandon, December. Does that sound right?
I had first meeting in January.
Went to January. So NPU has looked at it multiple times. They have their standard comments. I think Brandon mentioned that it has to be cameraed to inspect the private line that goes down to the pump station. And
So
then,
that wouldn't be done beforehand. No?
No, it's all within the easement. So I did talk to Rob Harris at NPU. Because they don't own it, they want us to go in and do a pre-construction video inspection with their crews. They'll pop the manholes and we'll go in and camera those pipes because they're not necessarily in control of them. So it's a fully private system. So it was put in with the intent of this property connecting, but obviously we didn't have control of that installation and NPU doesn't own it. So that was really his only comment, that we make sure the condition of that private sewer is adequate and there's no issues. So we're not aware of any, he's not aware of any, but it was more of a take a look at it and inspect it before that we get to the point of issuing a building permit. So
And what if they find something
well, it either
that there's
has
a
to be,
problem with
if they
it?
find something, it's a problem for co-view as well.
Right.
So
Okay.
it needs to be fixed because we're tying in at kind of the midpoint of their system.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if we find something, we have to figure that out with the abutting property owner on who's fixing what and how it's going to be fixed. But it's not an issue of the system that's there. It was put in with the intent of connection, and it does go down to the NPU system once it hits Trading Cove Drive.
So no matter what, you can get something in there that will work.
Yes, it's definitely flowing downhill in gravity. So it's a unique system because it weaves its way down a steep embankment, so it goes back and forth. So we just want to get in there with the cameras and make sure the piping's all right, all the connections to the manholes are okay. And then once we know that, we're getting into the public right away where MPU has control again.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have a quick question. This is Regan. I was just wondering if there's any consideration for the neighborhood on Trading Cove Drive, if there's enough of a buffer and a green barrier between the proposed development and the existing neighborhood there. Thank you.
Can we answer that?
What's
So-
that?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's an
anybody can answer it.
existing conservation easement that was put in place as part of the subdivision. And then I think Brandon mentioned there's over 100 feet of existing woods that will remain.
There's a really large buffer because we don't touch that slope at all when the subdivision was originally approved. As a matter of fact, Kathy Wazika is the one that set the parameters for the extent of that conservation easement. Kathy, you were like top of the hill, even in, so it's like a very, very significant conservation easement.
Great,
Can I
thank
ask
you.
you a question, Regan?
Yep, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, I think we do have a motion pending to close the public hearing. It's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is now closed. Does anybody want to make a motion in connection with the application itself?
Cam first.
Yeah, the CAM first. So there's actually two applications here, the coastal area management application for approval. Does somebody want to make a motion regarding that?
I'll make a motion to approve the coastal management application, but I have a question about that first. You said that they gave you some comments on it, on that application?
Yep.
Cam?
Yep.
And
So the finding is it's consistent with all applicable coastal policies.
okay,
They had the ENS controls appear to be adequate. And they encourage a non-infringement setbacks maintained from the wetlands at all times.
oh, okay, thank you. Then I'll make a motion to approve the CAM application because it is consistent with all coastal use and resource policies.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
This is Ella, I'll second.
Motion by Kathy, second by Ella to approve the coastal area management application. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the CAM application is approved. Does anybody want to make a motion in connection with the special permit application itself?
Come on, guys. Anybody else besides me? I feel bad that I'm always making the motion.
This is Ella. I'll make the motion to approve based on the proposal conforms to zoning regulations section 3.1.b multifamily district, zoning regulations section 3.4.a coastal area management overlay, zoning section 4.16 multifamily dwellings, chapter 6 and section 7.4.b and 7.4.c.
Okay, thanks.
Conditions.
What's that? With the conditions set out?
With the conditions outlined in the memo.
Thank you, Ella. Do we have
And
a
I'll
second?
second that.
Second by Kathy. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I can't count, but I don't hear anybody, so that application is approved also.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
for your presentation. Thank everybody for your participation.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, I have something to add for other business.
Okay.
I got an email request from the folks 89 Canterbury Turnpike. It's requesting extension to file the Mylars. It's their first request.
You know, the subdivision number.
Not off the top of my head. It was the last one that was
The one up on Canterbury Turnpike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a.
All right, so,
I'll add it to.
we have it up on the, screen here.
We have to amend the agenda.
No,
No, it's under other business.
Oh, okay.
So, there's a request for a 90-day extension. Somebody want to make a motion in connection with that request?
To file.
For 89 Canterbury Turnpike to extend the time for filing Mylars by 90 days.
I'll make that motion. This is Kathy.
Okay, motion by Kathy. Is there a second?
This is Ella, I'll second.
Motion by Kathy, second by Ella. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Okay, so that extension is granted.
I have bond reductions and releases here.
Okay, so further on the agenda, bond reduction release requests.
Here we go. So the first one I'll deal, okay, the first one we'll do the bond release. So this is for bond release for site development plan 938, where it's an oldie, 41 Palmer Street. So the last time we did a bond reduction for this was in 2016, December 2016. The bond is for Palmer Place of Norwich. It was request to reduce the bond from 17,000 down to 2,000. And at that time I did an inspection of landscaping. There were several trees missing from the plan along the property line. And so we made a recommendation to keep $2,000 for that based on speaking with Public Works at the time. So we were notified through our finance department, the treasurer's office, that the bank wants to no longer, they're not going to carry that bond anymore. Liberty Bank said that they're not renewing the letter of credit and they want to know if we can release it. So we did an inspection out there. Long story short, a lot of the landscaping has changed since I went out 10 years ago. Those two trees were not planted in, but in the meanwhile, I'll read you what Jeff Dewey said. Good afternoon. Richard Shook and I visited the site this morning regarding your email. We find that the site is stabilized and there are no issues. The trees specified on the original plans were never installed. However, there is substantial woody growth that I believe meets the intent of the proposed planting. That said, I'm comfortable with you releasing the remainder of the landscaping bond and feel free to contact me with questions. And that's Jeff Dewey, city engineer. So because the bank is going to renew it and there is vegetation there, we're going to release it. But he did find going out there that the detention basin was all grown in and there was some other problems. So he's gonna, that wasn't what the bond was for. So he's gonna follow up with them about cleaning out the detention basin and getting the vegetation out of there. So he is okay with releasing it. And the bank, since they're going to not carry it anymore, it makes sense to, I'm okay with going along with it. So I need a motion to release the $2,000 remaining bond for site development plan 938.
Somebody want to make a motion?
This
Dennis,
is
make a
Ella. Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
Dennis,
I'll make that motion.
And I'll
That the bond be
second.
released.
All right, so Dennis had a motion to release the bond for what number of?
Site development plan 938 for $2,000.
Okay, and is there a second?
This is Ella, I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so
Aye.
that $2,000 bond
Goes
is released.
All right, so we have a bond reduction. This came in originally as a release and was a little complicated. So this is 23 Thermos, and this is, there was multiple developments that happened at 23 Thermos over the years. And then recently, within the last couple of years, we approved another project there on the hillside. If you remember, they were going to change it and do something different. So we're still holding some of the site, the remaining work that didn't get done, not ENS, but for actual work there, because they moved from one phase to another and didn't complete it. So they wanted to have it all released. And we said, no, And we had, the engineering firm that was doing it was CLA to figure out what was remaining from those first projects that need to get done before they ever do that new project, which I'm not quite sure that's gonna happen. So, the remaining work, is $30,300 worth of work. So we have a total bonds of $43,630. So we, need to keep 30,300. So we can release, we looked at the numbers and they make sense. They're today's numbers. So we would like to release 13,330 with this stipulation that we require the remaining work to be completed, that $30,300 worth of work to be completed by August 1st. If it's not completed at that time, we'll be forwarding to move forward with calling the bond and getting that work. Some of the work was a dumpster enclosure, pavement striping. The pavement doesn't have its final binder course on it, and signage that was required out there. So I'm asking for a bond release on this project, which is a little confusing because there's multiple reduction. There's multiple site development numbers. So I would say it's coming out of Site Development Plan 961, as I guess what I would say is Site Development Plan 961 for $13,330 with the stipulation that all the remaining work, actually it's both of them. So I'm gonna say Site Development Plan 961 and 961B, we're holding $43,630 that we are going to release $13,330. But the completed remaining work needs to be done by August 1st, 2026, or we're calling the rest of the bond.
Do we feel that $30,000 would be enough to complete the work?
Yes, we looked at the numbers and engineer feels that it is sufficient. I was concerned about releasing any, and he said, no, that is sufficient money to get that done by, if the city had to call the bond and go out to bid.
Okay, so that being said, does somebody want to make a motion regarding this bond reduction for site development plan? What is it?
Yep, 961 and 961B.
961 and 961B.
I have a question.
Sure.
So how long have they had this, the bond, how long has the bond?
God, years, because this was.
Okay, so I don't think we should release it. I'm just saying.
Well, we had a very long conversation about that because they have done all the other work. So we went back and forth about this a lot. We're like, well, it's $40,630 and they have done some work and they've got $30,300 worth of work to do. And that number's been verified. Is it fair for us to keep more than what really we need? Because that's like, what if we had 100,000 and they only had $30,000 worth of work? Should we really be holding that difference? So it's more of like, this is the actual amount that it really would take to do the work. So they should
keep
get
enough to cover the work.
Yeah, that's why we did. Even though Kathy, we had this long debate about this, same thing.
Yeah.
In the end, the city engineer was
Very
agreeable
confident.
to keeping the remaining.
But he said we want it done by August 1st, or else we're calling that bond.
So why don't we just have it done by August 1st and we'll release the whole thing instead of 30,000, just keep the 13 and release the 43 when it's done. I think
it's because they're looking to get money back. He asked for all of it back. He thought that we were like, no. So he's been waiting.
I mean, they only have the binder course on the driveway. Right? Isn't that what you said?
That's what he said. It's like 1,290 square yards of it.
Let's move on. Do we want to make a motion on this?
So we're releasing 13,330. That would be the reduction. That's what we release, and we hold on to 30,300 with the stipulation that work needs to be done by August 1st, 2026.
I move on that. I'm not going to try to repeat everything she said.
No, but I got it. As long as you say it, I'll put it in.
So Dennis is making a motion
that we release 13
with what Deanna has requested. Is that correct, Dennis?
That is correct.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a second to that motion?
This is Ella. I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Dennis, second by Ella, basically, as I understand it, to reduce the release $13,300 on the bond, retain $30,000,
30,300, yep.
300, and to have the work done by August 1st, otherwise there would be a calling of the bond.
Yes.
That is correct.
Is that your motion, Dennis?
That is my motion.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
That was Dennis, that was Dennis, Ella, and
Dennis
Frank,
and
okay.
Good.
I'll say aye.
Thank you, Kathy.
What about,
I said I as well. This is Regan.
okay,
Thank you, Reagan.
all right, so it's all unanimous,
Yeah, yeah, sounds that way.
all right.
Any other bond reductions or?
No, that was both of them were.
Does staff want to make a report?
Well, I just want to say for the record, I have subdivision number 443 in my file name. I just couldn't see it because of the Zoom bar, so that was the number from 89 Canterbury Turn. So
Oh, okay.
it's just here.
So in the staff report, I just would like to say that, I know that we haven't had a POCD implementation meeting in a really long time, since pretty much right after we adopted the POCD in August of 2023. We were really, really busy working on zoning regulations, and now we have some upcoming projects that we're working on and grants and things. So not that we're trying to ignore it. I just want you to know, I don't want it to get 10 years out. We're talking about this, but our next meeting is July 8th for the POCD. I will not be here. And I don't know if you want to try, Frank, POCD is led by this committee, this commission really, but do you want to have it, or can we wait to the fall?
I'd just soon wait till the fall for you to be present at the meeting.
And it would be easier for our office because we've got some big things coming up in the next month or two. So
I appreciate it. I would have held the meeting with Deanna not being here, but I would rather not have it. It's the week after the 4th. So.
All right, so I just
I
gonna
don't think we
cancel
need a
that.
motion.
Nope, we'll cancel it. I just wanted to bring that up. Staff report, we're short on staff in the office. I think you should know that. We are one of our assistant building officials has moved on to Montville to be their head building official there. We promoted one of the assistant building officials, Chris Berger, who's very, very good. He has a background in architecture, so he'll be doing lots of good comments for these reviews for you. You'll get more, I think, from the building official. We promoted our blight enforcement officer to an assistant building official. He's going through the training right now, but he is not licensed to sign off on permits. So we only have Chris for permitting, Chris for inspections. We have Frank helping with inspections, and he's taking photographs. We brought on a trainer who we used a couple of years ago. His name is Earl Dean. He does the program for the state of Connecticut. So Earl is training Frank and doing plan review in the office to keep some things off of Chris's lap, the building official's lap. And we're looking to get a couple of people to come in, and at least one person to come in and do inspections, another building official. Very tight out there. It's hard to find people. We're advertising for a blight enforcement officer right now and a building code compliance tech, which is basically lower than an assistant building official because we can't find anyone qualified. So we're going to do like we did last time, train in-house. It's going to take us longer to get up and running, but if you know anyone out there that's in the trades or has any experience in the trades, it'd be really helpful if they applied for either one of those positions, because this is the blighty season, everyone's outside and we're getting a ton of complaints, and we don't have a blight enforcement officer right now. So it's Frank is still doing it a little bit, but it's not in his job description, and they are union positions. I can't just make him do his old job too. So we're really busy in our office. And Dan, what else?
The RFP window for the Norwich State Hospital planning study closes in a couple weeks.
Yep.
We're hoping to have a quick turnaround probably by mid-June to schedule interviews with the respondents so we can pick someone to get going by July.
BSC was selected for our consultant for the K part, and it's a 30,000 small grant to do a conceptual plan and the public outreach for what the park is going to look like when we completely finish doing the remediation and cleanup there. And we've got $11.8 million to do the cleanup and remediation, and that is not enough to create the park. So just knowing that that's enough to clean it up and take care of it and stabilize it and make it green and pretty, but it's not going to have the amenities. So this $30,000 portion of a grant from DEP will get at least some drawings with the public, take public input,
and come up with a concept plan that we can use to apply for grants. Yep. So BSC was selected as that consultant. So we're very busy. We're doing those and other projects, and more grant rounds are coming up. So
Okay.
anyways.
Anybody have any questions for Dan or Deanna? Okay. I will accept a motion to adjourn.
This is Ella. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ella, second by Dennis.
Dennis.
To adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your work, staff. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody, for participating tonight. Thanks for showing.